What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Unknown Coatings channel. New video for the day. Apologize on the delay in videos once again, but we're back at it. So, got an interesting video today. I've been asked this question a lot, and it's how to, or if you can reseal a multi-piece wheel without disassembling it. Traditionally, my answer is don't do that. You can do it. It takes a little more work. But there's a lot of people who are not comfortable disassembling multi-piece wheels, and this is mostly for them. So I'm going to go through the process and show you how to make this work while keeping the wheel together, but stripping out all the silicone and resealing it. Got a single work VSSS here, or VSXX here, and going to clean it up a little bit for the customer as well, but we're mostly just cleaning it up and then resealing it and slapping the tire back on. So let's get to the video. All right, so the first step we're going to have here is getting the silicone that's already here out. Traditionally you would be just cutting this with an X-Acto knife or a blade of some kind, and then unbolting all the bolts that are on the face of this wheel. There's a lot of people who are just not comfortable pulling these apart that way. So this is a video, I guess, for some of the people who either don't have the specialty tools that are sometimes required to do this, or aren't comfortable unbolting a wheel and bolting it back together. You can use a number of different tools. X-Acto knife, just to cut this silicone. What we're trying to do here is just get as much of the silicone out as humanly possible. And what I find works best is cutting it into a V, as close to the barrels as you can get it. And as you cut this, it'll come off in big chunks like that. So ideally you just want to get out as much as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect, but a good amount out is the start. And unfortunately, you have to do that all the way around the wheel. Like I said, you can use an X-Acto knife. I tend to do it with one of these knives. These are for pulling tire, like cutting valve stems and weights and stuff off wheels. They're just a little more rigid, not as sharp, but you don't need anything like super sharp to do this particular task. And once again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're just trying to get out a decent amount of this silicone, because the next tool that we're going to be using is going to remove it all, but you don't want to have to sit and like beat on it to get it off with this new tool, at least. I actually have a couple of videos coming up that are all going to be kind of focusing around multi-piece wheels. I get more questions about multi-piece wheels from YouTube and through a couple other pages that I run on Facebook than I do about just powder coating. Just because there's way more people out there messing with multi-piece wheels than there are doing powder coating. I'm going to try to cater to kind of both of those at the same time and see what we can come up with. I almost feel like the X-Acto was working better. Which is not typically the case. I guess I should mention there's also going to be a whole list of some of the required tools to do this particular task down in the description of this video. Because this is not something that you're going to want to do if you don't have the other tools to do it, which the main one being a grinder. An angle grinder, specifically. So get most of this cut out here. And you don't have to worry about the silicone out on these edges. I mean, whoever sealed these up did a pretty trash job. But normally you wouldn't have silicone out this far. You guys have seen me reseal videos in the past. I just have the nice pretty line in the center. That way a tire doesn't catch it as you're trying to install a tire. Go all the way back around this thing. Okay. Just one last chunk out of here. Oh God, there's still more. Thought I was doing a better job with my other knife than I really was doing. It's one of the downsides to this clear silicone, especially on the raw aluminum lips and barrels. You can't see it as well. All right. So now that we got most of that out, the next step, there's a couple different options. You can use a wire brush if you have one to try to knock away some of the loose silicone, and it actually does a really, really good job, but it's pretty labor intensive, and I will say it doesn't do the best job that you can have done. So you just shove this along here, and you can see all the kind of dusty stuff coming off. That's all silicone that you're knocking out of here. You can buy a set like this. I think it's like $5 at Harbor Freight. So, you know, pretty accessible to anybody, especially if you're messing with multi-piece wheels. And you can see that it does do a pretty decent job at starting to knock this down to bare metal, because that's the ultimate goal here, is we want this to be bare metal, bare aluminum, nothing on it. But I choose to go a different route. So just running a plain ass grinder. I buy these wire wheels. You can buy these at Harbor Freight as well. I think this one's $4. You can buy straight versions of this, but it doesn't have this kind of cupped design. I actually prefer the cup design. It helps you get down into these grooves, I think, a little easier. You can flip it to the other side and do the other side. Okay, so now we're just going to take this tool and run it while it's on, obviously, into this groove, spin the wheel all the way around, and then flip this and do the other side as well. Probably have to play music here because it's going to be far too loud to do anything else. One side is done. It actually gets most of the stuff off this side too. It's just doesn't get everything, so you have to flip it around, which we'll do here in just a second. But you can already see all the silicone's gone now. I'm gonna go through, we'll knock all that, there's like dust from it basically, gets stuck down in here. We'll knock all that off, obviously, before we continue with the sealing of this actual part. So we'll spin this around and get back to the grinder. So now that that's all done, you can take these two different types of brushes throw them across the room. So something I found useful to do this with, this is a detail brush. Any soft, longer bristle brush will work great for getting all the remnants out of here, basically. You can also use compressed air. If you have an air compressor, you can probably just blow this out. Work even better. I'm trying to show you guys with as minimal equipment as possible, because I know not everybody has a bunch of extra equipment and tools available to them. Perfect. Okay, so now we got all that stuff brushed out. Next step is going to be cleaning it. The best bet is going to be acetone every time for this particular task. What you want is a nice clean surface to be able to apply your new thing of silicone to. So just throw some on a towel and wipe this all down. Now you'll end up seeing that there are remnants, I guess, the little bits of silicone still in here. Most of them will be stuck, obviously, if you take a brush and get rid of all the other stuff, but some of them might actually be a little bit loose. It's not ideal, you know, you want to get them out, but you don't have to get them absolutely perfect. I'm always kind of a believer that if you're going to do this at all, you might as well just kind of do it all the way, even if you're doing the half-ass version, which is not taking the wheel apart. But like I said in the beginning of this video, I know there's a lot of people who just are not comfortable pulling wheels apart, and that's fine. You know, I get it. So, got this thing cleaned up. Next step is going to be silicone. It's the same silicone that I've used in countless videos in the past. This is the black version. A lot of people prefer the clear because it will help you see if there's air bubbles in it. I do it a way that you don't really get air bubbles, so not too concerned. And there are people that like to tape these. I'm going to show you what the tape method looks like if you want to use that method. I don't ever use this method, but there are people that like it. I think it's easier to get a nice clean line. And so you'll want to tape this right up and over, just barely over this edge where this rolls down into the crease. You don't want to have it sit above it. You want it right on the edge where it rolls from this flat surface here to where it starts to angle down. And then you would run, obviously, tape all the way around. I'm just showing you this particular way with a little piece of tape to give you an idea. Like I said, I don't use this method. And then you'd be siliconing it the same way that you're about to see here. So let me pull these off. I'll do it my way. So once you have this starting to come out, you're just going to want to put a bead in. And you can push back against it. I actually tend to push back against this occasionally. This caulking gun is being ridiculous. There we go. And you don't want to have a big crazy buildup. You guys can kind of see how much I'm putting in here. Doesn't even really go above the seam. It might, you know, occasionally where it kind of bunches up, but it doesn't need to. So we'll do that. Keep moving this thing around. And I have wheel rollers. I'm actually about to come out with an actual kit for wheel rollers because I get asked that a lot. Anybody who's seen this channel before has seen that I normally use a wheel roller to do this on. I actually gave the one that you guys have seen away, and I'm developing a different one that I'll have for sale and allows you guys to buy and mount to workbenches or tabletops, whatever you want to use. Okay. So now that that's done, okay, so now's the smoothing process for silicone. You guys have seen me do that in the past. I use my finger. They make tools at, you know, Home Depot and Lowe's, Ace Hardware, that are for caulking like this, that will make, I mean, some people think it makes their life easier. I think it's more difficult. It's all just a preference thing. But you just put your finger down into here. You run your finger across to keep in decent tension. This is where the wheel roller is super helpful. And this is why I was saying to you, you don't have to put a ton in here. As you can see in this process alone, even with it being less than it was in the seam, it's still seemingly too much. And then the easiest way, I mean, you can take a scraper, you can use a squeegee for like vinyl, whatever you want to use. Yeah, I forgot this one sucks. And basically you're just going to use it. I think I've actually shown you guys you can use cardboard in the past as well. And the way you use cardboard is just the exact same way. Just treat it like a scraper. Okay. Once you do that, I always go back over it with my finger just to smooth it back out. And then clean up around the valve stem. Ideally, you want to remove the valve stem. I didn't on this one specifically because I didn't know if I had new grommets for it and didn't want to risk tearing it when you take them off. And that is it. Now you're going to want to let this sit for at least 48 hours. You can do it in 24 hours, especially if it's in like a warm environment. I tend to kind of work under the belief that there's no point in rushing it. I would hate for you to go put a tire on this and it wasn't fully cured, and then you end up just blowing this out anyway, with, you know, once air pressure is applied. So it's best just to wait. So we're going to clean this wheel face up a little bit for the customer, and that will be that. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video. Hopefully you powder coaters find it helpful, but of course, wheel people, this video was more for you than powder coaters, but hand in hand in my world, so it's all the same to me. Got another video I'm gonna actually finish tonight. It'll be up probably in 2 days. I'm gonna put this one up the same day I'm making it, so whatever day you see this is the day this was done. Look forward to more videos, and see you guys next time.